Okay, the third table that I work on, and this one I tend to like a lot only because I can watch TV from here, so depending on what's on. This area here, I keep a lot of my punches and borders. Again, it's all marked so that I know where everything is. Another idea that I found helpful is I took and punched out the shape and put it right on top so I see it, because sometimes when you're just looking at these, it's hard to see. So I keep my large ones and so on, and they're all marked out. These few drawers, again, these are the big 3-inch drawers, but these are the smaller ones. I don't use these as much. These were from Costco a while ago, but I keep them for the little ones so that they'll have something to play with. But they are all set out. And again, here's those little trays. And you can use them for whatever you want, so they're great. And on this side of the desk, I know, seems crazy, but I even have paper towels and wax paper, because when I'm working on something and I need a quick paper towel, I don't want to go running into the laundry room to find it. So these are the paper towels. Martha Stewart, she lives here. Another good idea for me on her punches, so that or even if my little ones are playing with it, because they can do it, just so I know what side, I mark it with a marker so I know exactly how the lineup is, even though I know the magnet does hold it. So I keep Martha Stewart punches here. Another OCD idea, I should say, is when I have my punches, I take just those little cheap stickums shapes, and I put the shapes that go together with the same color. Or like these are hearts, so this punch goes with this one. Makes my life easy. And then down here, just some of the Fiskar punches as well. Okay, moving on to just under the TV area. We've got the most, I think, ingenious for me anyway, works for me. I just did it a couple of weeks ago when it was time to clean up the craft room, and this has really helped me a lot. I had all of this scrap paper in like file folders, and every time I needed it, it was dragging out this file folder. I couldn't find what I wanted because all the little pieces kept going to the bottom. Now I have labeled them, as you can see, with multi-paper, black, white. I combined colors because I didn't want to have too many. Metal scraps and so on. And now I can just open it up and flip through. For example, these are just scraps of colored paper, but it of course makes it a lot easier when it's, you know, just the black and white or whatever. So I've got my reds and my greens and shades of green. I didn't separate it completely into different shades because that would be way too much work. But this is great, and I don't even clip them because I can come over here and pull a color so that if I know I need to do something on the Cricut, I've got a piece and I don't have to waste a whole piece. Great, I love that. Down here on these extra little cubes, I keep a lot of these because you'll see on the shelving I use these a lot. I like them because I can take them wherever I need to go. And they do hold a lot. This area here are all scrapbook pages that I've done. For example, that one just finished up for Valentine's Day with the 3 little hearts because I've got my 3 little granddaughters. But I do keep all of them. I do have to put them in an album, but I do keep all of them in the clear folder so that they don't get messed up. And then just extra paper down here. Okay, let's go back to here for a second. This is again that long shelf that you just saw, and it's just a cheap shelf, so you really don't need to buy a big expensive wall unit. I keep extra ribbons. Over here, I keep Cricut cuts. Now this I still have yet to organize. It's my next job. But I find that if I keep a sample of what it was and I mark what book it came from and how the size that it was, it really helps me on sizing when I'm going to cut something else on the Cricut. So I need to organize this so next time you see my video you'll see it much better. I've got a book of stickers, of course, not just the wood stamps that you saw, but there's also the cling stamps, and I do have those in books marked with what they are. Again, that little P-Touch came in handy. This idea is another one, just a cheap binder, stamps, so that I know what stamps I have, and I just stamp them on whatever paper and marked at the top. So, for example, this page is all sentiments. This idea, which again I have to still organize, it's called chipboard shapes. I find it very hard to have all the chipboard just in one big jar. It's too confusing for me. So if I need flowers or whatever, I know they're all together. And again, they're just those page protectors. They work. And then, of course, just some reference books. This over here, I keep old cards because sometimes I cut those out and use those on cards. And then just little drawers with card stock, card envelopes, old backup paper. And then in this section, this is really important for me. I did this a couple of months ago. I had all my paper and it was just stacked. But this, super cheap, just take paper, buy a heavy cardstock package. You can see it's a hard cardboard. And I just organize them, so it's like my little rainbow of color. I know then if I'm running short on a color because I can see, you know, between the packs. So this is really good. And this is just for the 12 by 12 cardstock. The smaller cardstock, I do keep up here, the pads and stuff, and I just keep those in a little 8 by 8 sheet box. Martha Stewart's here again. Another little quick idea. I don't know about you, but I find this really hard to open. So I put a ribbon. I just attached it, and this way I can pop it open and pop it closed. Found that top very hard to open. This is the Ultimate Crafter's Companion that I use to make a lot of my cards, and this piece I absolutely love. You can see I always have all over the room my little Ava, my little Way Too Cute, and here's her little Yummy page over here. And I love working on those kids. Okay, over here, I have a lot of these little drawers all over because I like to keep stuff separated. So these are all the chipboard shapes. I also have one for flowers, and you can see this way, I know exactly where they are when I need flowers. Down here are all the cardstock. I'm not going to go through it because there's no point to it. But I do try and keep, for example, these are all my little girly ones. So I try and keep all the die cuts. I love die cuts with a view. So I try and keep all their paper pads together so I know whether it's, you know, glitter paper or solid cardstock.